Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis, and today I'm very grateful and humbled to be joined by a fellow self-sabotage coach, Karen Mendell. Karen's lived a very awesome life. Her story on Tanner's podcast was awesome. Her self-sabotage story is awesome, but she's so much more than that. She's a mother as well, to a beautiful boy. Yep. Karen's awesome. She has an awesome story, and for any woman in her 30s, 40s, even 50s, the way she's turned her life around is really, really inspirational for any woman out there. And she shares her story and she's posts really good content. We'll put links to her stuff in the bottom. So just a quick formality before we get stuck in the Karen story. You may have seen in my last episode with Tanner, I do have an affiliate program with the BonCharge crew that make these awesome blue light glasses. They have heaps of products. They have glasses, they have lights, they have Wi-Fi blocking gear. They have all sorts of things, 5G protective gear as well. So jump on their website. I've added my link at the bottom and you can get 15% off if you click on that link, and there'll be a code at the checkout, Nathan22. Use that, get some products. They're really awesome. I'm going to get the founders of the BonCharge on my podcast in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But right now, Karen, welcome to my podcast today. I'm looking forward to hearing your story again and see how far we go today, and whatever else comes up, comes up. Maybe some self-sabotage. Looking forward to it. Yeah, let's get stuck into it.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me and for that awesome introduction. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Yeah, so I have been on I guess, kind of like a healing journey, just like a self-care, self-love journey, probably for the last decade. Before that, I was a self-saboteur all the way into my high school, from high school. And I've really kind of just spent the last few years specifically just peeling back the different layers of why I was doing certain things. It's like I'm tying everything together at this stage. I didn't really know before. But yeah, just drinking a lot, pretty much. Started drinking. I got drunk for the first time when I was 12. So kind of stemming all the way back from that time. I was bullied in elementary school. So then I feel like that triggered me to just always wanted to be accepted and people pleasing. It was super important to me to be with the cool kids and hang out with the cool crowd. But that got me into a ton of trouble. So drinking, and then that turned into doing hard drugs. So I was doing cocaine and ecstasy for many years in my 20s, and sometimes staying up all weekend partying. I was sick all the time, mentally just not there. I kind of relate to a lot what you say too, like with the casual sex and things like that. Like that was just normal, like every weekend, because I was just looking to be loved by anybody, even if it was just short term. And then it just made me feel worse about myself. Because I didn't love myself. So that was just like this whole self-sabotage journey in my 20s. At a certain point, I was binge eating. I was emotionally eating just because I was so unhappy, just completely toxic. Then when I was 27, I met my now ex-husband, and then everything changed. We got into a relationship. Things were good, but it was still like the old me, I will say. Like I was still based my life around like drinking and not really living a healthy life. And then something shifted. I think when I was like 29, 30, I started focusing on health and wellness, had my son, and then just kept going further down the rabbit hole, I guess. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've got a little Yorkie that likes to bark at.
That's okay. I got a dog too.
She saw a bird or something. So yeah, I started, I guess, my awakening journey, for lack of a better term. Both sorry, I'm just gonna go get her actually.
That's okay. Well, good. I'll pause it.
Yeah, so just started on that journey of just uncovering a lot of truths that were going on, just kept going further and further, health-wise, and just like everything, right? Like political, what's going on in the world, everything. My husband was not on board. I tried for several years just to get him to align with me, and it was just hard. It was a very lonely, isolating process. I knew nobody that thought like me for 4 years. And then finally, I met one of my close friends now at a vaccine protest. This was a year and a half before COVID. I was fighting for, they were going to mandate vaccines in schools for my son. So I was fighting against that. Became friends with her. And then from there, just started meeting other people. Then COVID hit, and now I've just aligned with so many amazing people. Kept trying to make things work with my husband, but unfortunately we just couldn't. We were just on two completely different frequencies. I tried really hard, we both did, but we're just not aligned on many things. So we're on good terms, we're good co-parents, as long as we don't talk about any touchy subjects. And definitely it's been challenging, especially when it comes to like medical decisions and things like that. So then in 2020, I took the self-sabotage course with Jason, which you also took. And COVID was, I know it was not good for a lot of people, but COVID was the best thing for me in my own personal growth, because I just kept learning and growing, and it just kind of catapulted me to start all these new things. And then when I actually moved out on my own in 2021, so it's been 2 years now, I went through like another growth transition where I kind of like regressed a little bit. It was really hard being on my own for the first time in 10 years. I was very lonely and just had to rebuild my self-confidence, my self-love. So now the past 2 years, I've just been working on myself. I'm doing tons of personal care stuff and growing, helping other people with the self-sabotage coaching. And yeah, it's just an interesting journey. There's so much to learn and so many people to connect with. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's very similar. You had a very similar 20s to the 20s I had. So even though I'm still in mine now, yeah, lots of forgiving and stuff too, which would have been powerful for you. That's an awesome story though. To be able to, like a lot of people out there, I know it's quite hard with what's going on. Like people can't see eye to eye. They're staying in marriages that they shouldn't be in and doing all those things. It's credit to you that you recognize that you're like, look, we're on two different journeys, and to be able to just, I guess, up and leave. Not many people are willing to do that at the moment. So that's credit to you.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy decision. It was even before COVID that I knew that we weren't aligning. I'm like, okay, he's not going to see this. Like, no matter what I was trying to do, he just, he wouldn't see. Like, I would be showing all the stuff, and it's just, that's fine. Not everybody's going to see that. And I totally respect that. But I didn't want to give up until I 100% knew. Yeah. And then it was like 3 years after, and it was 6 months into COVID, and I had all these friends contact me saying, oh yeah, like, we've been seeing your posts and stuff, and now we're starting to understand what you're saying. So I'm like, okay, great. All of these people are understanding. So then it dawned on me, okay, he's never going to understand, and that's fine. I just knew it was time. And then we made the decision, and then I never looked back. There was never a moment where I was like, I never have once questioned the decision, because I just knew it was the right time, and I knew it was the right path. And we're on good terms. He lives down the street from me. Yeah, it was the best thing, because I couldn't be my true self. I couldn't say certain things because we would get in arguments. Like, I couldn't have my true opinions because it would trigger arguments, because we were just so like polar opposite on our opinions. So I was literally living in a house with like a mask. I couldn't be my true self, right? So I just knew like I needed to be free, and now I can say what I want, be who I want, do what I want. And it was very freeing experience, but it had its challenges for sure, but it was the best decision. I've never questioned it. Obviously, it's not ideal for my son. I never wanted this for him, but it's the best of the situation, right?
Yeah, spot on. You just touched on before, you said that you were lonely and stuff. Like, I know for me with my journey, I've had some lonely times too, but I guess during those times where you were alone, you were able to feel those feelings. Like, what was the one thing that got you out of that loneliness feeling? There'll be a lot of women that can relate to this.
So for me, I did a lot of meditation and a lot of journaling. And then it was really the self-love work. Like, I got to a point where I almost just lost my self-love, and I started dating someone that was not right for me just because I didn't want to feel lonely. So it's not like it just happened and I was fine. Like I I did almost self-medicate, and I'm a self-sabotage coach. So I'm like, I know that I'm doing this, but it was just part of the process that I needed to go through. But it was the self-love. So I started, just the self-care routine is so, so critical. So it has to be a routine, and you have to do it consistently. So, every morning now I wake up and I do a gratitude practice. I do a hypnosis or a meditation. I do mirror work. So I look in the mirror and, just looking into your own eyes and saying nice things about yourself. Like, I love you, Karen, or like, you're amazing, because that's so powerful, right? Just to look yourself in the eye, which a lot of people have trouble doing, but you need to get to that point where you can look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you love you and actually mean it, or you're amazing, or this or that. So just doing all of that stuff. Journaling was super huge for me. And then for me, just learning and constantly learning something so that I can use it for, to better myself.
Powerful, especially that mirror work. Like, you're looking into the eyes of your soul, like you're looking to yourself, and to say that and then really feel it and mean it's quite powerful. Because you're right, a lot of people tend to shy away from the mirror and looking themselves in the mirror. So that's really good to hear. Yeah, and it's interesting too, because I know with our work we know the subconscious loves repetition. So if we're repetitively doing that, then that's going to be habit eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you do it daily, I think it's like at least 30 times. So like, don't just say it one time, say it like 30 times. You can do multiple phrases, but try to do that every single day. Get into that routine, because the routine is huge for me. If I miss a day, I haven't missed a day of gratitude practice since I started it in March. But if I miss a day, like I can immediately feel the shift in my energy. If I miss like my daily walk or something, like it's so huge. It's like the journey, the self-sabotage process and the healing, it's a constant working process. Like, you can't just do it and be like, okay, good, I'm healed now, I'm done. It's like constantly doing it, or you go backwards, right? That energy dips, you start thinking not so clear. Like for me, it's structure and routine, discipline, and just keeping on bettering myself, like trying new things. And for me, for 2023, it's been all about getting out of my comfort zone. So doing things that I've never done before, saying yes to things that I've never tried, doing things that scare me, even doing something like this, just like speaking my truth to as many people that I can with unapologetically, right? So just 2023 is just doing as many things that I've never done before, or getting out of my comfort zone.
And how does that feel, being out of your comfort zone?
It feels good. Like, it can be scary in the moment, but it's been great. Like, I started eating meat again for the first time in 30 years. So that was like a huge thing for me. Like, I can't tell you how much I didn't like meat. And it's like, I feel like a whole new person, to be honest, because I'm doing all these things, and it's really helping me grow.
What put you off meat?
I don't know. I stopped eating meat I stopped eating red meat when I was 9.
Yep.
I don't know. It just grossed me out. It's always been a mental thing for me. So I only ate chicken, turkey, and bacon. I loved bacon for some reason. And I only ate white meat. And now I've been working with a personal trainer. I've been working really hard on weightlifting and things like that. And then I said to myself, like, why am I restricting myself? Why is my 9-year-old self dictating like that I can't eat meat? And then I said, I'm just going to start eating meat again. So slowly started, and now I actually like steak, which anybody that's close to me that knows me, that hears me say that, is probably like, whoa, what the heck? Because for so many years, I've never ate it. So it's just been like a whole new mindset shift in every aspect of my life. I don't want any restrictions. I don't want to be held back. I don't want any like barriers. I just want to just do me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good steak too.
It's delicious.
As long as it's grass fed.
I do grass fed, organic. Yeah, I have a local farm that I do, which is good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've been doing the weightlifting and stuff myself too. I've started going to the gym too. It actually adds a bit of extra mental strength, not only with the physical strength, but I know Jason said to me in my first session, he's like, it's going to add so much strength to you. And he meant that in all areas of my life. It's like, well, if I can lift that weight, then I can do anything. Like, it's just the whole belief system of it. Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
And the discipline, right? And even like the feeling, sometimes while I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this sucks. But that feeling, that rush that you get after, and then just seeing the increase in the weight and seeing the results, and yeah, just the mental clarity, and just, yeah, it makes you stronger. Like it's a great feeling. Like it's been amazing for me. I've always worked out, I've always been active, but I've never actually done like high weights, I guess. So this has just been a whole new transformation. Been really good.
Stepping into your true power. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said journaling and stuff too. I gratitude journal too, but I guess do you really go deep into like the feelings that have come up? I guess you do it in the morning, so that'd be the previous day's feelings. Like, do you journal down like what's come up for you? Like if someone in traffic might have cut you off or something, and you might have been a bit, triggered, as they say. Like, how did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you delve into those feelings that come up during the day as well and help release them? I guess.
I don't do as much of that. I don't, most of my journaling is more like gratitude, manifesting. But then sometimes I will just write down, like if I'm feeling a lot, I'll just kind of write down whatever's coming to my mind. But the gratitude practice helps me just kind of help with that anger or the feeling. I'm always, instead of like staying in a state of anger or sadness, which is normal, everybody's going to feel angry, everyone's going to feel sad. Like you can't block these emotions. You just need to feel them and then process them out of your system as quickly as possible. So I'm with the gratitude practice, and what I've learned, I'm processing them quicker and quicker, right? It's just like being conscious of it. So yeah, I'd still get mad at people in traffic, but I don't sit there and get angry like after and I'm dwelling on it. It's like, okay, I was angry. Okay, what? And I'm always now thinking about, what is this teaching me?
Exactly.
Like maybe I wasn't doing something right. Maybe I wasn't driving properly. Like maybe this person had a bad day. Like I'm always trying to think about, like, what is this teaching me? Maybe I shouldn't have been rushing. Maybe I should have left more time to get to wherever I needed to be. So I'm trying to take a lesson even in negative situations.
I love that because there's a lesson in everything anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what
Yeah.
what we do or what someone does to us. There's always a lesson in it. Yeah, resonating with
Yeah.
that.
I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason, and every single thing is for happening to you for whatever reason. Maybe it's building the next thing. Maybe it's to stop something else from happening. Maybe it's just something you need to learn, part of your lesson and part of your life's purpose, your soul's purpose. So whatever's happening, I always try to think like this is happening for a reason. Even the people you meet,
Yeah,
crossing paths with even each other or anybody, right? It all happens for a reason.
absolutely. Spot on. Just in terms of, we'll just go back to your awakening journey when you started finding out this information. Did you find that some of your friendships, no, obviously your relationship changed. Do you find some of your friendships changed too? And how was that process for you? Because I know for me it was very hard because I was the only one in my friendship group that didn't wear the mask or do any of that crap. So
Yeah.
a lot of people will obviously resonate with that too. Like, how did you find that process of, I guess, shedding the old tribe to then bring in the new tribe?
Yeah. It was very hard at first. Like I said, this was pre-COVID, so way before anybody even, like, now it's talked about so much. Like a lot of people have clued in, but I didn't know a single soul that
Wow.
thought like me, other than a couple Facebook groups I joined about like glyphosate, GMOs, and geoengineering, and like dangers of vaccines or whatever. So those were the only people I connected to, were Facebook communities. Um, and I was very vocal at first. I've always been very vocal on my social media, but eventually, yeah, I stopped talking to most of my friends. I have a couple that I still talk to, but that group of friends that I was friends with before, I don't really talk to anymore. But now I have an amazing, like you said, an amazing new tribe of people that I can be me, that relate to me, that it's not necessarily like you have to have the same opinion about everything, but we're like-minded, right? We get each other, we have the same values. So it was a long process. Like I said, I met my one friend at vaccine protest, and then it took about 2 years to slowly just meet new people and start connecting with new people. And I kept connecting with new people, meeting new people. During COVID, my son went to like a homeschool because everything was shut down, and I found a great homeschool with all like-minded people. So it was just like, it started to be like everywhere I was going, I was connecting and meeting new people. So that's kind of how it happened. And now I do I don't have like a ton of close friends, but I do have a good circle of friends that we're on the same page and we don't judge each other. We're just very authentic and it's really good. Whereas before, again, I couldn't be my true self. I was being judged. I was being ridiculed. And I was like, I don't like this anymore. I don't like how this is feeling. So then I just cut ties.
It's very hard to do though too, but it's,
yeah.
I found it was the best thing. Like the people I've met now, like even just the people I've met in the coaching program as well, and just people in all walks of life, like you really do bring in the new once you shed that old. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And you need people that are supporting you, right? And that are lifting you up, not that are judging, not that are being critical. Like you just need that good energy and that good frequency. So you need people that are on the same vibe as you. And I feel like I found that. And I think the thing is there's still so many people to meet and so many people to connect with. So I'm always really excited about, what new things are going to come into my life, what the universe is going to bring me next. So there's always, that too.
Yeah. So you're just for those that don't know, you're in Canada, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm in Ontario.
So us and Australia and Canada seem to have the same level of tyranny.
Yeah. Canada's pretty bad. I know Australia was pretty bad too, especially during COVID. Yeah, I followed all of it there. Yeah, it's brutal. It's honestly brutal.
I think they're coming in around the corner for their next attack soon.
We're in it right now, actually, with the forest fires.
Oh, you guys having some fires, eh? I haven't seen that.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what's
Because
happening.
we had
Nothing
floods.
I've ever seen.
We had floods last year, yeah.
So, I mean, these forest fires, obviously, I don't want to get too much into it, but it's a manufactured thing, right? They're trying to bring in the climate change narrative. But I've never seen it like this before, where it's actually like a smoky haze outside of my house right now from fires in Quebec. Never in my 39 years of living have I ever had smoke from forest fires. And it smells, it's not natural. It smells weird. Like it's crazy that it's hitting this close to home now. So yeah, they're in the next stage, I would say, here anyways.
Yeah. Who knows what's next, but we're all here for a reason. We're all here for this. We're all here for this time. So obviously we'll all get through it. But yeah, just absolutely. In terms of your story as well. Did you also find that, like, how did your son go with all this? Like does he see the world the way you do, or how's that dynamic play out?
He's still so young, and it's
how old is he?
He's 8.
Oh, righto.
8. So I honestly tried to shelter him from the COVID BS as much as possible, because I'm like, at the time, I think he was 5, and I'm like, he doesn't need to know about this. What he does know is that we don't wear masks, we don't take poison. He knows what to do if someone comes to him and says you need to get a vaccine. No, I do not consent. Like I teach him, like he has to be prepared, right? He just knows, like he knows about health. Like I always tell him, I've been telling him since he was like 4, you know more about health than most adults, because I've been teaching him about health since he was as far as he could talk, right? Just what you put in your body, how to nourish yourself, how to take medicine, but like real medicine, right? Like proper natural medicine. We don't wear masks. We talked about that. Why? Because, we don't need to restrict our breathing. We talked about our detoxification pathways. So I just try to say as much as I can for his age. But he would ask me like, Mommy, why is everyone wearing masks? And I'd have to explain, well, they're afraid of this thing, but we don't need to be afraid because we're healthy and, people get sick. You have to take care of yourself. So it was a hard time, to be honest, because how do you explain that? Why is he not in school? Why is he not allowed to do this? Why is he not allowed to do that? The thing that was most crazy, it was not this year, but the year before that, his dad took him bowling for his birthday, 7th birthday, and my parents ended up going with him. They called me and say, do you want to go for Hunter's birthday? I couldn't go because I didn't have my shot. I wasn't allowed to go up for my son's 7th birthday. So it's just like trying to explain to him as much as possible, like how ridiculous the world is without trying to scare him and without giving him too much information. And as he gets older, we'll talk about it more and more. But yeah, it's hard to maneuver sometimes.
Well, now we can go anywhere. It doesn't matter now. It's like
Now, but I mean, it was crazy for a while. It seems
it
like so
was.
long ago, but it's crazy what happened when you actually think about it.
Yeah. So were you the only one in your family that stood up?
Oh yeah, I'm like the black sheep of
Welcome.
of my family. Yeah, which is fine. I'm good with that because I couldn't see myself being any different or being like not speaking up about this because I have a child to protect. I have my son's future to protect. So for me, it's like he's the most important thing, and that's all I care about. And I need to do what I need to do to protect him and myself. So I know that whatever happens, we're going to be okay. And yeah, I've kind of let go of controlling what other people do. I can't change people. I mean, I can support them, I can give them information, I can plant seeds, but at the end of the day, I can't choose what people say. I can't choose what people think about me. And I can't choose what their actions are. So,
Yeah. As long as we're controlling our universe, we're all good, really, aren't we?
yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
powerful.
To let go of all of that.
What was the trigger point for you that woke you up to all this stuff? Was it just a jab? Was it like Jason? Like he had a jab himself? Like, did you have
I
something
don't
that was like,
have,
oh, this
it's
is
hard for
not?
me to pinpoint. I think in my 20s, I did watch the Zeitgeist documentary. And then I just think that seeds were always planted. Like I always received those things really well. Everything just always made sense to me. And then it was, I think when I was 29, I watched a documentary on 9/11 and I'm like, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. Started going down that rabbit hole. Then I had my son and I'm like, okay, organic food. I started researching about that. Then I started researching about vaccines for him. So then I started researching about more of the other type of conspiracy theories. Like I was researching the Clintons and that like
Yeah.
went like all different directions, geoengineering. So just slowly started going. And then I was almost just like hooked. I just couldn't stop. Now I'm at the point where I don't focus on a lot of that. Like I know it
Yeah.
all and I get it, but I don't want to focus my energy on that. I've made peace with like, just doing what I can preparing. But yeah, I just slowly started going down one and then it went to another for many years. So
Yeah. Took me about 12 months to work it all out, really. 6 to 12 months. And then spirit took over and I was on the spiritual journey then. And that was the most incredible thing. Like to be able to
yeah,
to learn the world truths and then learn my own truths was, yeah, it's powerful stuff. But a lot of people have said to me, like, it took them many years to do all this. It took me about 12 months.
yeah, you fast tracked.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was just sort of
Yeah.
remembering everything. I felt like I'd already learned it anyway.
Yeah, I think the last 2 years for me have been more of a spiritual journey. It's been more of a personal. So
Yeah.
like all those years previous as just more of like learning the information and speaking out and like pretty much yelling into an echo chamber because nobody wanted to hear me. And then the last 2 years has just been more of the inner work and peeling back the layers, going back through
Yeah.
my childhood trauma. One of the things that I discovered with the separation and like the whole reclaiming my self-love was I had a twin brother that died when he was 2 days old.
Oh,
And I feel like a lot of my attachment and a lot of my relationships are based on this old wound that I have that I haven't healed yet. So that's what I've been working on for the last year is just like going back to this childhood trauma, healing some of the attachment wounds that came from that I didn't even think about really until like 8 months ago. And I was like, oh yeah, like that's a huge part of it, right? Like I
mm-hmm.
shared a room with somebody and then they were just gone. And my, you know, self as a baby didn't know how to process that. So that's trauma that's stored inside my body. So now I do body memory recall. So I'm trying to remove some of that trauma and just trying to process it, like actually acknowledge it and kind of understand why I've been doing certain things for my life.
we'll have a chat off air, but are you aware of spiritual like guides? Like you have
Like
guides
what do you
around?
mean? Like you mean like spirit guides? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that twin is like big in your life right now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I'm
That's
getting.
interesting. I definitely want to hear about that.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off air, but yeah, he's
Okay.
around you all the time.
Okay. I'd
Yeah,
love to hear about that.
we'll leave that off air. It's pretty personal, and I'll share what I've delved into
Okay.
with mine too. Yeah, just in terms of that, because that's a pretty big trauma to unpack. Like, I guess your body and your subconscious is prepping you for it. Are you been getting like flashbacks of that, or like how's that come about for you?
I haven't really, and that's something I need to go a little bit deeper into. So when I'm doing the somatic healing and the body memory recall, I'm feeling the energy come out of me, and it seems like it's a lot of anger, but I'm not actually linking it yet. And when I was with my energy healer last time, like a lot of energy came out. Like it's an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of said, she's very intuitive, and what she has said, like the anger that she feels like it was like I was running, and again, this is just something that could be, but it was almost like when my brother died, I was trying to save him, and I tried really, really hard to save him, but he couldn't be saved because it was out of my control, and I took that guilt with me and stored it inside of me because it's like I want to save him, but I couldn't save him. So it was almost just like acknowledging, forgiving that, like, no, you couldn't save him. It was out of your control, and just acknowledging and forgiving that part of me that still held on to that guilt for not being able to save him. So I
Mm.
thought that was really powerful. And I was like, another aha moment, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So it's been really interesting piecing it all together.
I've got some tips for you off air to help you
Okay.
with some of this stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll have a good chat. We'll have a good chat off air, I reckon. Just in terms of the
Okay.
honest stuff, like to be able to feel and go back to moments like that. A lot of people aren't willing to do that sort of work, are they?
No, and I think a lot of people don't know. Like a lot of people don't understand. And we know because we took the sabotage course. And as coaches, this is what we do when we help people is like your subconscious programming from the ages of 0 to 7 are so powerful and really what determine a lot of how you are now. But most people have no idea how powerful these past experiences are. And they just
Especially
think,
in the
oh no,
womb.
yeah, and they think, I've moved. Oh yeah, no, I was bullied as a kid, or like, no, this happened, that happened, but I'm fine. I've moved past it, but they really haven't
Yeah,
moved past it because they don't actually acknowledge it. So it's really common. Like most people have no idea how to even process it.
and that's the thing. Like that's what we're doing now. It's like this podcast, like
Yeah.
what we've delved into today has been absolutely incredible. I had a feeling we were going to go deep. So I didn't realize we were going to go that deep. But that's such an awesome story, Karen. You should be very proud of yourself for the woman that you are today.
Thank you. I
Is there
appreciate
anything
that.
else you're willing to share in terms of this stuff before we have our epic chat off air?
Um, I mean, I'm willing to share anything if you have any other
Yeah, I
questions,
got
but
one more. So I often ask my guests if someone is just about to start their journey in terms of self sabotage or even the. I feel like this. I felt like the conscious and the unconscious awakening are two different journeys. Like you learn about the world stuff, then you circle
yeah.
in, and then you learn about you and your traumas and your patterns of behavior and all those things. If someone's about to start their, we'll ask this in two separate questions. If someone's about to start their conscious journey in terms of learning about the world truths, what would be your advice to those people to start learning the worldly truths, and then your advice to learn the truths from within? And they go back to the womb, as we know.
Okay, so these
Yeah.
are big questions. The worldly truth, I would say it can be very overwhelming, especially. Well, I think people, first of all, have to be open to it because really it all comes down to if you're ready to accept what's really happening. And not everybody is, but if
Yep.
you're ready, you'll know. But just it can be so overwhelming and it can really bring down your energy when you really find out what's
Yes.
going on. Um my advice would be to have people that understand you to support you because you need to talk to people and you need to have a good support system, because like when I was going through it, I literally had nobody to talk to. I have no idea how different it would have been if I could just talk to someone and be like, oh my God, can you believe this is happening? But it was so isolating, and it can really mentally wear you down. So have a good support system, or people that are, reach out to anybody. There's so many people now. And also, like, go slowly, because you can, well, I mean, you fast track, but like,
yeah, I went fast, but it's sort of, looking back, it actually tore my world to shreds. But I think it was supposed to be like that. But it was not. I probably went too quick into it because I wanted to relearn everything. I didn't get a chance to process that my world was shattering before me. So
But it's also very personal, and it just whatever feels right for the person. Like you said, it's all part of the journey, your own personal journey. So maybe obviously you were meant to fast track. So like, listen to yourself, but if it gets too emotionally, mentally draining, depressing, like, take a step back and just have those people you can talk to, because it's like earth shattering. It's like, holy shit, everything I've ever learned is a lie. And it's really a lot to unpack. So that would be my advice for that. What was the second part?
So the question was the inner work. So if someone's listening to this going, well, I know what's going on in the world, and they've had some stuff come up in terms of the topics that we've spoken about, and they're about to start their inner healing journey, what would be your advice to those people to start that journey?
Again, one step at a time, because if you do too many steps, then you just get overwhelmed and you're going to end up quitting and going back to the start. So start incorporating one small personal development routine at a time. So even if you start by doing a morning meditation, even if you start by going outside, having a walk in nature. So like one thing at a time, and then slowly build on that. Getting outside in nature, meditating. If you don't have a lot of time, look in the mirror for 5 minutes and do some mirror work. But don't overwhelm yourself, and then go slowly and keep building and stacking the positive habits. And then as you stack the positive habits, you're going to start feeling better mentally, physically, and then some of those negative things are going to be removed naturally from your life, because you're going to be so focused on the positive things.
That's good advice. Thanks for jumping on today, Karen. That was an awesome chat. You got an awesome story, and hopefully some women can connect with you. And speaking of that, if there are some women or some people out there that have resonated with the story, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'll give you the links to my social media pages, but Instagram is Karen Mendell Coaching, and Facebook is Karen Danielle or Karen Mendell Coaching. But I'll send you all the links for those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Are you coaching? Are you coaching at the moment?
Yeah, like personal.
So how can people reach out to you for a coaching session? Do you have an email address as well?
Yes, I will send it in the link, because I have two different ones. I want to make sure I give you the one. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. So there'll be some links in the bottom if you want to reach out to Karen. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. This is all online now. So, yep. Thanks for jumping on today, Karen. I've got some awesome guests coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. I might get Karen back on down the road once she's gone into her inner child stuff in terms of the womb. Might be able to share that story for us all, and I'll look forward to that one. And thanks for jumping on today, Karen. And I'll speak to everyone again soon. So thank you for listening and watching wherever in the world you are. And thank you, Karen.
Yes, thank you.